So with all this hoopla about the dress, Dr. Kari Turner said, I got something to say. Okay? So we're going to hear about it. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get into it, and I'm going to speak on it. Welcome to Voice It with Fran Lavoie, and I'm your host, Fran Lavoie. I want to thank you guys for all your support on my latest video as I'm coming from one channel to the next, building this one up. Check me out at Fran Lavoie on my other page. But let's get into this. Like I said, I wasn't going to waste your time. So a lot of people have had things to say clearly about this dress. And of course, there are some clergy that got things to say. Even people that aren't in the church had things to say. So we're going to get into what a Bishop Patrick Wooden, he said, and I'm going to tell you what Jazelle Bryant had to say. So let's get into what the pastor had to say.
A preacher presented his wife the other day, and I guess you call that a flesh-colored dress. I don't know. It's black dress and flesh color. It gives the illusion that she's not wearing anything underneath. And I heard the preacher, when he defended her dress, by saying, first of all, he bought the dress. And then he said, I want to address people who don't know anything, who haven't been anywhere, who don't know nothing. So I guess our objection to a man of the cloth presenting his wife in public looking like a $2 whore. Two. At least two. Now, I didn't say she was. I'm not talking about her. My statement is not about her. My statement is about him. I said he presented his wife, and he said he bought the dress. Those are his words, not mine. And there is nothing classy about that. There's nothing modest about that. He said we haven't been anywhere. What I would like to know is where have you been? Where did he go? So I'll make sure that I never go there, because I don't want to go anywhere and I come back with that kind of a notion. Now I will say this, and this is a comment about my wife, not his wife. This is a comment about my wife. My wife wouldn't have done it, no matter what I said. She just would have said, honey, I'll wear this for you. I'll wear this for you at home when we know the grandkids aren't coming. Because there is such a thing as decency. Decency. Y'all don't like me. But in public, at an event where everyone will see, I don't know of a greater way for a man to demean his wife. And if he doesn't think that that is demeaning her, there is something wrong with him. But then again, we're also talking about the guy who looked at Cam Newton's legs and told Cam he had pretty legs.
Child.
Yeah.
So you just heard what Bishop Patrick Wooden said. And he said a little bit more. And let me see if I can find it and play it here.
And we live in a day where people will amen anything. The members of the church screaming amen of her pastor, the first lady, wearing a dress that is designed to make it appear that she's wearing nothing underneath. Now, I'm going to preach, but I want to tell you this. I've been a man since I was 18. I was almost one before then. But I'm 64 now, so I've been a man for a while. So I want to talk to you about the world of men. The world of men. The world of men. In the world of men, when men see a married wife with her husband dressed like that, The signal that's sent to the world of men is he needs help. Because he ain't hitting it right. I said the world of men. Now, ladies, don't judge me. You don't live in the world of men. You don't know nothing about the world of men. You ain't never been a man, and you're not going to be a man. But in the world of men, when men see that, oh, God, she's begging for help.
So that's what Bishop Wooden out of North Carolina had to say. And boy, are they tearing him up, okay? They got him pictured in a mammy looking version of the dress that Dr. Karri Turner-Bryant was wearing. They just tearing him up because obviously, you know, he said a lot of inflammatory things. Talk about calling out Bishop Jamal for being messy, and here you go being messy too. Let's go into what Jazelle Bryant said, and I believe Robin had something to say on their Reasonably Shady podcast. As we all know, Jazelle Bryant, obviously you see the last name. She was married to Dr. Jamal Bryant. She shares 3 children with him. And like I said in the last video, the reason why they got divorced is because he was a cheater, pumpkin eater. And if you remember season 5, I believe, of Potomac, it looks like they were trying to start dating again. And, you know, who knows if that was real, if that was for publicity. But Monique cleared her with that notebook, child, with that binder. But let's see what Jazelle had to say.
You don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. I don't see nothing wrong with Jamal's wife's dress. Did you see all the discourse online?
Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with that dress.
It was fine. It was fine.
Yes.
Yeah. But, but this is the thing. You know, people going to have their commentary one way or the other. And you would think you would not feed into the commentary, Pastor.
That part.
So her dress was fine. But and people going to have, say whatever they want to say. Let's just not feed into it. That's all.
Yeah. That part.
Yeah. Because that's when you make it unnecessarily bigger than it is.
Yeah, you bring more attention to it, for sure.
Yeah.
But I also think, I don't know, I'm just like, it was an unnecessary discussion, period. Yeah, so just
bigger than it.
Leave it alone. But, it was made a moment, for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe, use a different platform for that. I don't know that Sunday service is the place to talk about.
Agreed. And I'm not going to tell him when and where to say whatever he has to say. Yeah. But maybe it was a Bible study moment, right? Not on Sunday. Right. Let's Sunday for the word of the Lord.
Yes. Because I didn't see the connection to the word of the Lord. Sometimes it's leave it alone.
All right. So you heard what Jazelle and Robin said. So it looked like Jazelle didn't even want to talk about it, but Robin was like, I'm going to speak on it. And as you can see, Jazelle didn't have anything negative to say about the dress. Both of them thought that the dress was fine. So now let's get into what Dr. Karri Turner-Bryant said. She responded on a talk show regarding what people had to say about her dress. All right. 1 second.
Did you have even a sliver of doubt before you walked out to go to the event about the dress and that it might create a stir?
People have said, she knew it would get this reaction. My ego is not that big. Wow. I don't dress for people. I dress for myself and for my husband. I am a wife. Yeah. I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I have a doctorate, I'm a professor. There are plenty of things that I do. And the challenge is we often want to see a woman be one-dimensional. I am multi-dimensional. I carry multiple titles. Now, what you choose to call me on whatever day is fine for whatever that might be. But I think that there is this idea that a woman can only be one thing. And once I happened to marry a pastor, I happened to fall in love with a man who is a pastor, right? And so with that came the title of First Lady. But
Did you have even a sliver of
All
doubt
right.
before you...
All right. So y'all just heard what she had to say. I'm sure that there are plenty of other comments. I'm sure that there's plenty of other people that approve, disapprove, are slandering her or praising her. Of course, I didn't play the video of her on Tamron Hall, but Tamron Hall, when kind of gave like that nod, like yes, when Dr. Kari said, I'm a multidimensional person. Basically, the headline that the Neighborhood Talk provided stated that she said that she's multidimensional. She's not just one thing as a woman. She's not just a preacher's wife. She stated that she happened to fall in love with Jazelle Bryant. She's a wife. She's a professor. She has a doctorate. She has all these things. And I think that is to say that for her to be addressed the way that she's been addressed, it is to assume that she is supposed to be this woman on the side that, is just in the shadows per se and just wearing whatever her husband wants her to wear, when that is why she wore it. She said, I wore the dress for my husband. I dress for my husband, but she also said she dresses for herself. And I do believe that because, like I said in the last video, Dr. Turner-Bryant has a very eclectic, very fashion-forward style. From her head down to her toes, she does appear to put a lot of work into her appearance. So I'm not mad at that at all. Now, to address Dr. Bishop Wooden. Now, he did say a lot of things that I do find interesting. And once again, I'm not a man. And he said that a lot of y'all women will never be a man and say, I don't understand things from a lens of a man. First of all, I thought he was very messy for bringing it up. And even though he was like, well, I'm going to preach. I'm going to preach. But he took time before preaching to basically big up his wife, who they showed. And, she was wearing typical old school, first lady dress. I'm going to church dress with the church hat and the, woman suit and stockings and everything on deck. And he basically said that she would not wear that out in public for people to see, and that Dr. Jazelle Bryant presented his wife like a $2 whore. And he said at least $2, at least to say that, anything less would be more of an offense than what he's describing her to be in that dress. So he said, well, I'm not calling her one. I'm speaking about him. That's how he presented her. I do see some truth in what he's saying, in the sense that the way that you present your wife and the way that you allow your wife to come out of the house says a lot about you. If you had nothing to say, you purchased the dress, and people have all this uproar, then, that's just what it is. If people have something to say about it, it's like you obviously don't care. Or even before people had things to say about it, you simply just don't care about how your wife is looking out here. Well, that is all in the eye of the beholder, in the heart of the person that is looking and their opinion. Now, once again, people who are talking about this are divided. Some people don't have an issue with the dress, such as Jazelle, who is his ex-wife. She don't got a problem with the dress. She just didn't think that he needed to address it at all because it did bring more attention to a situation. But it obviously struck a nerve with him, and he felt like this was a time that he needed to go viral and defend his wife. And she said this could have been a Bible study moment. Well, I think that it shouldn't have been an on the pulpit moment. It shouldn't have been addressed in the church, in my opinion. I think that if he had something to say about it, Jamal ain't got no problem going down to the, lives and going on his podcast or whatever and saying something. But in his last sermon about it, he did speak about how there's a double standard with men in the church and how women have to, gatekeep lust and, sexual immorality, and men are expected to, go off of what the woman presents instead of, guarding their hearts and guarding their gates and doing whatever they have to do. Because once again, Dr. Kari Turner is a, voluptuous woman. She has a very sexy, beautiful shape, and she's pretty. Like, she looks very good, and she, is unapologetic about it. I don't think that she should die down her appearance. I think that Dr. or Bishop Wooden also discussing that as women, we don't know the world of men, when he insinuated that, Dr. Jamal Bryant presenting his wife like that and allowing her to go out with a dress that he deemed inappropriate signals to men that she quote unquote, or he quote unquote, needs help, and that she's just begging. Now, he's alluding to the fact that, and he said it straight up, that he ain't hitting that right and that he needs help hitting that. And that alludes to what he said about her being out there dressed like a $2 whore. He's basically saying that Jamal presented his wife to be, captured up and to be offered up, for anybody that wants it, and implies that Dr. Jamal would allow his wife to go and give it up, or that she would go and get what she needs, considering that if we take Dr. Bishop Wooden's logic, that she needed help. Now, that's left to be determined. I'm not going to sit here and say that the woman need help or not. Do I think that it's very insensitive for him to say that? Absolutely. Why would you say something like that? Well, it's his opinion, like we all have here. I don't think that she looks like a $2 whore. I think she looks very expensive. She looks very good. The nude illusion is what's throwing everybody off. The fact that no matter what she wears, she's part of the thicky, icky community, such as myself, that no matter what I wear, listen, people gonna see that thing, and it's just what it is. I've worn outfits where I thought that I was, being modest and not showing no skin and not showing no leg and not showing, anything skin tight. And I still got compliments. And it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. Now, are certain outfits more revealing and more alluding than others? Yes. Do I think that this dress was more alluding than others? It's simply because of the nude illusion. That's it. If it was a solid color, kind of like satin material or another type of material, people still would have had things to say, but it wouldn't have been as bad as this. I think that this is an off-duty dress. Like I said in my first video, this is a dress where, listen, baby, if I'm out on a date with you, or if we out somewhere where I don't have to present, I don't have to, be out here, on the clock per se. Shout out to Funky Dineva. The thing is that she was presenting at the United Negro College Fund mass ball. And so she had a presentation. Now, here is the other thing about that. People would have noticed her anyway because she is a first lady to a prominent Black preacher that everybody know. So even if she wore an ugly outfit, people would have been talking. So I get it. Why not look the best? And why not wear whatever I want to wear and look good and hit y'all with the fashions, baby? Y'all still gonna talk anyway. I just think that this whole thing did not have to be addressed after people started to talk. I think that they should have just moved on. And if they wanted to discuss it like on a podcast or a live, I think that, that would have been fine. But, it was Dr. Jamal Bryant that kind of, set it off. after everybody was commenting. And Karri didn't say anything until she went on Tamron Hall. But do I like what Dr. Bishop Wooden did? Well, not Dr. Bishop Wooden, but Bishop Wooden. Do I think that he was well in his opinion? I do, but do I think that his opinion is 100% valid? I mean, once again, about the man comment, I don't know. My men, drop down in the comments, let me know what you think about what he said. I don't think that the dress is suggestive of Jamal not hitting it right, or him needing, or her needing help because he not doing what he's supposed to do. I just think that this was a man that saw a dress. He know his wife's body. Then she gonna look good in that. Do I think that it was a misstep on his part? I do, because I feel like, it comes with the territory of the job. Certain outfits you just can't wear because you're supposed to represent something different from what people typically see in the world. And that is the part about being a Christian that's hard, where you have to die to your flesh, where I can't wear the same outfits that somebody in the world wears, because if the Bible speaks on modesty, I can't wear a nude alluding outfit that will suggest things, because it will cause my brother to stumble. Now, am I the main cause of my brother stumbling? Is Dr. Karri Turner-Bryant the main cause of him stumbling? No. And that's what we need to understand. No one causes another person to stumble, but can they assist? Can they create a gateway? Yes. But it's not like she's walking up to men and it's like, hey, look at me in this dress. She's not doing that. I'm sure she was very respectful. I'm sure that she was very, regular. And if a man sees that and doesn't know how to control himself, he doesn't know how to tame his flesh, if he don't know to look away, that is another issue. But there is something to be said about adding more sauce to a situation to lead somebody down those thoughts. We don't know what people are dealing with. We don't know what sins people, and I'm saying people in general, not just men, but women in general. We don't know what people are going through. So we do have to be mindful and generally not lead our brothers and sisters to stumble. So do I think that she could have worn something else that was cute, that was sexy, that was all her, and showed off her style and not cause all this ruckus? I do. But do I think that it wouldn't have mattered anyway because people would have had something to say? I agree with that also. So yeah, Bishop Wooden, you was just as petty. That's why they put you in that doctored up dress in that meme. And, we're so happy that your wife wouldn't do what Dr. Karri Turner did, and that you wouldn't go where Pastor Jamal Bryant would go. Like I said, I don't necessarily subscribe to Jamal Bryant's teachings because I think, there's some, error in a lot of the stuff that he says. But do I think that Bishop Wooden was slightly out of line? Yes. Do I think that he, there are things that he presented that could be true? Absolutely. What I do agree with is that the dress was beautiful. It was nice. Dr. Kari Turner is a beautiful woman. But at the same time, when you're on the clock, it's just like what I said about nursing. You can't be wearing a bikini down to the OR. You can't be wearing, a gown down to the ICU. There's a dress code and there's a certain standard. And I feel like there needed to be more wisdom and discernment on everybody's part when it came to wearing the dress, purchasing the dress, having the discernment to determine, was this going to represent Christ well? And as far as people making the comments, especially people who are supposed to be in Christ, having the discernment to say, is this a fight that I want to tap in on and speak on? was there a better way for me to say what I needed to say to make a point about modesty without being shady? And with Jazelle, I do agree that this could have been, let's not discuss this in the pulpit. And, shout out to her, she shares children with this man. She was married to this man. So, she wasn't going to have a dog in the fight, and nor did she want to talk about it. She didn't want to be reason to be shady because that's family at the end of the day, But at the same time, I don't think Jazelle would necessarily wear an outfit that voluptuous. I mean, there is the picture circulating around with her wearing a jumpsuit that has flesh-colored kind of like design to it, but it's not as pronounced as what Dr. Karri wore. Dr. Kari's dress was bad, honey. Her dress was, to me, I love the dress. But once again, discernment is needed when it comes to, and what I mean by discernment, I mean, God will literally convict you about certain things more than the other. And sometimes we don't have the conviction of the Lord because we are so caught up in self and how we want to look and how we want to express ourselves and how we want to. And we don't feel that nudge from the Lord that says, nah, don't wear that. I know your husband told you to buy that. And that's what Bishop Wooden did say that. My wife wouldn't have done it no matter what I said, to imply that it didn't matter if he wanted his wife to wear the dress or not. She should have the discernment of the Lord to say, I'm not going to wear that because I don't think it would be a good idea, in representing Christ with my modesty and with my dress. And so there's a lot to say to that. I do agree with those points, but I also think that all of this was messy. And what we should do is simply pray. Pray in the situation. Pray for Dr. Kari Turner, not because she's just so dead wrong, but while she's a multidimensional woman, above all else, she is a woman of God who should practice discernment. Now, if God did not give her a nudge in her spirit to, change the dress or not wear it, then he just didn't. But for me, when I think about modesty, I feel like it's really how she wants to express herself that overrides what she probably would have been hearing in that small voice from the Lord telling her, this gonna cause some uproar, girl. Don't wear that. Don't wear that. People gonna talk. People are already talking about you. Don't make it worse, girl. Let's keep the focus on my word and keep the focus on the mission of Christ. Not them hips. Not your looks. And so that's why a lot of people in the church do like some women and men, they find modesty to be, we're not bringing so much attention to the body, attention to the look, because people will be distracted by that. I think that you can look as good, you can have the style that you want to have without it being so much of a distraction if you do things in your ministry that point people back to Christ away from what you're wearing. And even then, it still won't matter because at the end of the day, people are broken. And if people are going to focus on you more than the word, you could be wearing a sack. People going to talk about the sack and you all covered up in that sack. People still going to talk. Or you could be wearing what Dr. Karri Bryant wore and people still going to talk anyway. So, all right, y'all. Those were my thoughts. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. Do you agree with Bishop Wooden? Fellas, what do you think about what he said when it came to men's logic about Jamal needing some help, which is why he presented his wife this way? What do you think about him, saying all those things? Do you agree with him and his clapback? What do you guys think about what Jazelle Bryant and Robin had to say on Reasonably Shady? What do you think about Dr. Karri Turner's comments? And what do you think about the situation at all? I think we need to put this conversation to a rest So hopefully this is the last thing. So drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your support. Bye-bye. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Fran Lavoie. Thank you so much for listening to this video and watching it. Now, if you like this one, there's plenty others where that came from. Be sure to check out my channel, like, comment, share, and subscribe.